Wait for it to go live. All right, everybody, welcome to Performance Seminar. Those that are watching, our YouTube viewers, nice to see you again. It is Monday, the 6th of March, 6 p.m. PST, and we have six wonderful young pianists here joining us. So I would like to introduce us to our first pianist. Pianist number one, take it away.
My name's Anay, and I'm going to be playing Sonatina by Muzio Clementi.
Nice. Nice work, Anay. Well done. Congratulations. Is this the first time that you've performed this in seminar?
No, I performed it one time before this.
Okay, cool. So, can you give us your review if you compared your performance from last time and today, what's the difference?
This time I accidentally messed up on one of the parts. It's supposed to go like I messed up on the left hand there, so it's supposed to
Let's talk about things that you felt went right though. Because every time we perform, there's always going to be some little thing, right? I think I think that Jayanth and Devin can agree to this. There's always one little thing that is a little bit different, right? But what things do you feel have improved because you have worked on this?
mostly the tempo in the beginning and the dynamics.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there you go. Right. I felt that you did find a tempo that you could mainly control. There were just a couple of parts where, especially these runs, ya da 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 da. I feel that your hand can move a little bit more. Whenever we get stuck with some kind of scale or some kind of movement, a lot of the time it's due to the fact that our hand isn't loose enough and we haven't actually practiced controlling it over the keys. And so you'll know if you work with me or our other instructors, we're always talking about some kind of rotation, right, over the keys. We never ever say, keep your hand still, keep the fingers moving like this, right? You want to be as fluid as possible. And so that's one thing that I would observe. Watch this video and ask yourself, am I moving fluidly enough over the keys, especially when you have these big leaps? And then when you have this here, yum, ba, ba, bum, bum, I want you to start thinking about a character. So it's not necessarily piano, right? But it could be sneaky, or it could be how else could you think about this piano, Anay, when it returns? If you were to give this dynamic a character,
Uh,
this one here in measure 24.
I don't really know.
All right,
Like,
what have yeah?
maybe it's uh light at the end of the tunnel, I guess, and it's like gradually getting larger, louder.
Ooh, I like that, right? Because you've got a crescendo here and then it arrives to a forte. That's possible, right? It's almost kind of like you've been walking in the dark for so long, you're slowly starting to lose hope. Then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I see a light, right? And then you want to run toward it. Or it could be, I don't know, a granddad. And he's a little bit tired and he's like, go to who sleep, go to who sleep. I don't know, right? It could be anything, but guys, this is what I want you to keep in mind when we're working with dynamics. You can also play around with how, like a character, right? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Otherwise, we're always just going to be playing loud and soft, right? But we can do more. We're artists, right? Devin, did you have any thoughts on Anay's performance? Things that that you thought he did well or could think about for next time?
Like work on the parts that you mess up.
That's good to, yeah. And how would he work on them?
Practicing it like more than once.
More than once, yeah, more than once, but also figuring out what needs to be fixed. So, for instance, if the trouble was this here, this jump, I would practice just that jump, right? Making sure that I understand that it's a skip, making sure I understand it's a C to an E, and also where it's located. Yeah. So we just got to be much more clever. We don't need to do the CGG, but we want to focus in on what needs to be fixed and worked on, and then hone in on that. Okay, cool. Thank you so much, Anay. Well done again on performing. We're going to keep on moving forward. All right, let me pull up our next performer. Next performer, when you're ready, please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name's Jayanth, and my piece is The Clown. I don't know who it's from.
Excellent. So the name of the composer is Kabalevsky.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
can you say it?
Kabalevsky.
Bang on. All right, stage is yours, sir. Well done, Jayanth. Congrats. Hey, same question that I had to Anay. Is this the first time you've performed this before, or is this a second time?
I think I only performed it for CM, so
Ah, okay. So this is your first time performing it in performance seminar, yeah?
yeah.
Well done. Excellent. So what were your thoughts on that performance? What are some
I'm
things that you felt went well? Put it that way.
well. I don't. I don't know. Do I like compare it to what I did in CM test or?
Yeah, you can compare it to what went CM, or you can compare it to when you practice in Kaizen.
I've memorized a lot better.
Yeah, well, there you go, right? So that's good progress. And what have you been doing to memorize a lot better? What have you been doing? What's your secret ingredient?
Um, I don't know.
Ooh, that's interesting. So you figured out that you are better at memorizing, but you don't know. So this is something that I want you all to consider. When something goes right, try and figure out how did it become right. You
Okay,
know why that's a good idea?
I have an idea. I
So
think
you can do
because
it for next time, right? Yeah, go ahead, Jayanth.
I prac I practiced in like line. I don't know how to say it. Like
One line at a time.
yeah.
That's
Well,
great. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
how that's a great way to do it, because then you're memorizing in chunks rather than trying to memorize the whole thing. For instance, you got these people that memorize, I don't know if you've learned this in math yet, but the number for pi. All right. And so, anyway, it's this very, very long number, and you memorize it in segments. Some people memorize 4 digits in a row, some people memorize 8 digits in a row, some people put words to go along with the numbers. There are many different ways, but we memorize in groups. Yeah. So, memorizing one hand at a time is perfect. Excellent. I would now challenge you to start thinking about the character. Always go back to the character of your right hand. So between these two, the first and the second, let's see. What's it? Hold on, let me just try to move this around a bit. So you know how you've got and then it goes to the C natural. Which one of those two do you feel you want to bring out more?
What do you mean by that?
So which one do you feel should become a little bit louder? Or should be a little bit more, let's see, energetic?
The C sharp?
Yeah, so you could bring out the C sharp, and then the C natural could be a little bit in the background, and then when the C sharp comes back again, and then you could bring back the C natural. Maybe that's one way that you could play around with the line, right? So that it doesn't all sound the same. And if you want it to sound a little bit more funny, the funny thing is that it doesn't always go to the C sharp, it goes to the C natural, right? And so it's like the clown going, I'm running, I'm going to go this way. Sorry, I'm going to go that way instead, you know? It's just very, very little changes. So you have to think, what makes this clown funny? And one of the things is it's unexpected. You think it's going to go to C sharp? Psych! C natural. So how are you going to make that? How are you going to bring that out, right, Jan? You understand what I mean? Like, otherwise, if you play everything the same, our ears might not catch it, but you kind of want to feed us. Like, hey guys, do you guys realize that it's a C natural? You know what I mean? So one thing that you can do is you play around with the volume, making it a little bit more energetic or less energetic. All right. So that'll be my little tip for you to play around with for this opening. Okay. But otherwise, it's sounding good. Left hand sounding strong as well. Right. Keep that very focused sound, and also continue working with the metronome so that you can keep a stable pulse the whole way through. You'll know the places that need to be fixed, right? That are slowing down just a wee bit.
Yeah.
So I want you to go over them again, rewatch this video so that you get a very clear idea, and then do that separate hand practice and be very clear with where the notes have to go, locate them, all right? Okay, excellent. All right, let's keep on moving forward. Very nice. That leaves us with one more, doesn't it? All right, let's welcome our third pianist to the stage.
Hello, my name is Devin. I'll be playing Minuet 5 by Johann Christian Bach.
Nicely done, Devin. All right. By the way this works is you repeat it twice at the beginning, and then when you go back, you only play it through once, so the repeat doesn't actually count the second time. Yeah? So save you a little bit of time, but thank you for the extra value for money. It's very kind. Okay, let's start with you. Was this your first time performing this in seminar?
Yeah.
Yeah. How did it go?
I think it went like okay because I messed up a little bit.
Yeah, that's all right. Like I said, there's always going to be little glitches here and there. But do you feel that what you've been working on in Kaizen in your own practice, that turned up to work?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good, eh? Nice. Yeah, I thought you did really well. Let's actually start with Anay. Anay, what are your thoughts on Devon's performance of the minuet?
I think it was pretty good.
Yeah. Why don't you name one thing that you felt that he did well, and perhaps one thing he can consider for next time as he practices? Have any thoughts on that?
Not really.
No, nothing in particular that you thought that he did well?
Well, I think like um most of it needs a little work, like just a little, not a lot, but like other than that, I think it's good.
Yeah, just maybe securing the notes a little bit more, do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. Jayanth, any thoughts for Devon?
Uh, I think he did pretty well. I don't have any tips for him of next time.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. I think even knowing that, when you listen to it, you thought he did well, that's great. So all good progress, right? Thank you, Jayanth. So Devon, well done. I'm going to say the same thing that I was speaking with Jayanth before, right? Although it's mezzo forte, some parts of this are a little bit more exciting than others, right? Would you agree? Well, actually, let me ask this to you. If you have a look at this line, which of these measures do you feel sounds the most exciting?
Um,
Measure 1, measure 2, measure 3, measure 4, or is it a combination?
I think the fourth measure.
So just these two, D and the B flat?
I mean the third measure.
Yeah, right. So yun dun 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 da da dun dun da 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 dum. So you can think of it that way as well. Whenever you see a little bit more movement, maybe it's a little higher in the staff, it's often a little bit more exciting. So you can give it just a wee bit more energy, okay? So it directs our ears. Otherwise, everything, as I was saying before, it just sounds the same. So it gives your phrasing and musicality a little bit more direction. All right. So that's what I would suggest. I felt you did the dynamics really well. I was really impressed when you went down to piano. That was good. All right. And you want to keep that up because it makes the music sound interesting and it pulls us in. We're like, whoa, what was that? Oh, he's going quiet. Very nice. When you go forte, you can actually give a little bit more oomph, a little bit more sound here in this section. Excellent. Then when it returns, right, because you're going to play this 3 times, right? When it returns, how are you going to change it? Are you going to change the character? Are you going to make it sound a little happier or maybe a little bit more shy? I'm not quite sure, but I want you to experiment with that, right? And then figure out, what does shy sound like on the piano? What does super happy sound like, right? Maybe super happy means that these staccatos have a little bit more energy when you bounce on them. And when it's shy, maybe they're not as confident. Yeah? You know what I mean? So you can play around with it, because when we repeat something in music, we want to change not the notes, but our interpretation. Yeah? How we play it. And often that comes down to maybe like a different mood or different character. All right? So I want you guys all to keep that in mind as you're playing. But that's our time for today, guys. Thank you so much. As always, watch this video back, please, so that you can make up your own mind of what needs to be fixed and adjusted. And then you can bring that when you come to Kaizen. All right. Devon, Jayanth, Anay, have a wonderful evening. And we'll see you again at the next seminar. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. See you guys later. Bye. See you later, gentlemen. Okay. See you guys at 6.